All right, beautiful. So hi guys, thanks for joining us today. I'm Evan with POS Portal. I'm the product manager for P2, and today we're going to look at our merchant services specific CRM system P2. So just a little quick background. POS Portal, we've been around for over 12 years now, and most of you probably know us from the hardware side of the business, but we also have been making a lot of great progress with our P2 product, our CRM product. It's built on the Force.com platform. So we're a partner with Salesforce, which allows us to build our system inside of Salesforce. So for anybody that's familiar with Salesforce.com, some of this might look familiar, and for those of you who have not seen Salesforce.com, Salesforce is a global leader in CRM. Companies like Dell, Toyota, and Burberry are using Salesforce to manage and run their entire organizations. So it's a super powerful system, definitely certified and well vetted in the market. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell kind of a story, and I'm going to walk a lead or referral from a referral partner. I'm going to move it through to a sales rep, and then I'm going to go ahead and push it through to some back office stuff, and then we'll kind of round out with some customer service and some reporting. So let's go ahead and get started. You see me on the home screen now. I'm going to go ahead and jump into a user. I'm going to get started as a referral partner now. Most of you guys probably have referral partners that are sending you leads or referrals. So this specific login is Cindy Gray, and Cindy Gray is a referral partner. Now she might be a banking partner, an accounting firm, any sort of partner that's going to send you more than just one or two leads or referrals. And the reason you want to do that is, this is an actual login that, you're going to have a monthly fee to pay for. So you want to make sure that if you're going to offer this out to one of your referral partners, that there's value in you covering the cost to give them this referral user, right? So Cindy here, when she logs in, she's a referral partner. The first thing Cindy's going to see is a new referral form. The new referral form lets Cindy key in any referral information, right? And once she adds this information, she can also attach files directly to this form, and that might be like a merchant statement, voided check, whatever she might have, right, that's going to help you with your deal. And then she's going to go ahead and submit the lead or referral. Now, once she's submitted that lead or referral, she's going to be able to come over, click into merchants, and actually see a list of every merchant that she's ever referred to you. Now this is great because it creates a lot of transparency in your relationships with your referral partners, because then they're not calling you every day asking you what's going on with the leads and referral they sent your way. They can simply come in and service themselves. So most of our clients that are using this are saying that, hey, the banking partners they work with are demanding something like this, because this is where technology is today, and they want to be able to see what's going on, including the status of where all the leads are that they've sent you. And if you look here, we have some closed merchants, leads. Some of these are lost opportunities. Some of them are active merchants. So this way your referral partner has that ability to click in and see some of that data. Now, because they're a referral partner, not an employee of your company, they can click in and see a little bit of information about the merchant that they referred to you, because they referred them to you, right? They can see a little bit of the people involved. They know who the sales agent that owns the deal. They can see who the sales manager is, if there's a sales manager. They can also add notes, attachments, or an additional contact. So this is a great tool because, again, it lets those referral partners have access into this merchant information that they've referred to you, but you're not giving them access to data that they don't own. So they're never going to see information from merchants that they did not refer to you. Cool. So as a referral partner, right, I can also run some reporting. So I'm able to see some reports, but I can really only see reports for merchants that I've referred to you again. So that's a real consistent theme, right? And if you look at some of these reportings, with a report like the referral partner default report, this is a dashboard report. It's a combination of multiple individual reports, and this is a typical referral partner dashboard, kind of a default dashboard. And if you notice here in some of these reports, we can see things like open referrals by status, merchants activated by month, referrals submitted by month, and then this particular report right here is pulling from our partner payout engine. So if you were to use our partner payout engine to calculate your payouts and your residuals, you would be able to push reports out like this to your different referral partners, and these reports would be available inside of their portals. So the last kind of cool piece here about the referral partner is this Documents tab. And in the Documents tab, what you're able to do is you can create folders for, say, referral partners. By creating this referral partner folder, you can add documents into this folder that is specific to the referral partner. So you might have 20 different referral partners, and it's important to be able to push out maybe a new marketing slick or some sort of terminal special that you're running, and you need to be able to push those slicks out to them easily and quickly. Well, the documents section allows you to upload documents into these folders, and this way the referral partners can come in, they can see the data was modified, they can download, and they can do whatever they need to do with these forms. So it's a great way to share documents amongst different users inside of P2. So that's the referral partner portal. I'm going to go ahead and looks like I have a question here. Let's see if I can answer this as I go on. Can we import our data into P2? Yes, of course. I'm going to get to importing data here in just a moment so you can kind of see how that works. Thank you for that question. So I'm going to go ahead and log out of Cindy. And what I want to do though is, so I've started out as a referral partner, and I've showed you how leads and referrals can get in through a third party, like a referral partner portal. We also have a way to allow you to import your list of prospects. Now here, when you click into import, it brings you into our import tool. You actually simply just upload an Excel spreadsheet, but we give you a template for how your data has to be laid out. So in this template, it gives you the specific columns and says, hey, in these columns, you need to have the data formatted like that. Let's go and click in it, and we'll show you this Excel spreadsheet. So this is the template that we provide, and this just kind of gives you a place to start when you're looking at bringing data into P2. So here, this template kind of shows you what the main column headers are, and it shows you which ones are required, right, and then which ones are optional. So that's another way to get leads or referrals into the system. Right, so you can obviously import them now. We can give you the ability to import. We can also let your agents import. Maybe your agents have a list from a BNI group or something, and they want to import that list and begin to work those leads themselves. We can also allow the agents to import their own lists. Now, we also know that there are other situations where you might not want to give the referral partner portal out to one of your partners. It might make sense to simply give them a referral form. So this is what we call our unauthenticated portal. And this referral form is really slick because what it is it's a live URL. If you look at the top, this is a live address, and we identify where each one of these forms are out in the world based on this ID code. So these forms are free of charge to you when you use our system. So it's a real sweet thing. You know, not a whole lot of things in life are free. And once you get these forms, once you get our system, you can create as many forms as you want. Every form you create will have a unique ID code, and you basically will tell P2 that this ID code equals XYZ accounting firm, right? So that way, whenever a lead or referral from this form hits P2, we're going to know exactly where it came from. On this referral form, they can also attach files right before they submit the referral. And if you notice that this form is specific to Alan Johnson, well, every sales rep is going to have their own specific form as well. So here, Alan, this is Alan's specific form. So Alan could pull up this URL on his smartphone and actually refer himself a merchant if he was out in the field and he needed to go ahead and get the merchant information into P2 quickly. So several ways to get leads and referrals inside of P2. I showed you the referral form. I showed you the referral partner portal. We talked about importing prospects lists. And your users can also simply come in over here on the left in this inbox, which is where most of the control is going to happen in P2. And they can click on the green plus button and simply create a new merchant record. Now, this is great because our system has a duplicate check in place. So this way you can check duplicates anytime you enter in new merchant information. Looks like we got another question here. Is there a way to auto-generate a unique ID number for each referring agent on the referral form? That's exactly what happens. So each referral form has its own unique number to it. So again, you can generate as many as you want. You might generate 100, right? Well, each one of those is going to have its own unique identifier, and each agent will also have their own unique identifier. So we're always going to track specifically where that referral data is coming from. So if, another question here. Perfect, thanks. So I might kind of slow down on answering questions just so we can keep moving, but I'll try to get to them if I can. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a new merchant record here, right? But if you notice in red are the only things that I need to fill in. These are only fields that are required. Now I could start this lead as a lead. Maybe I want to start it as an active opportunity or even an active merchant. But this way I can start it in a different stage of the sales process, and we'll cover the stages of the sales process in just a moment. So you can see here that you can even indicate all this information, right? You can key in all the merchant's information. You can even assign this out to another sales rep. So maybe you're a sales manager and you're keying in this information. You want to search out a sales rep to assign it to. You're going to go ahead and send them an email notification letting them know they own a new record. P2 can also send SMS text messages. So that way you might have some users that, some of your employees or users that aren't specifically using smartphones, and maybe they want to receive text messages. So that's how you create a new lead or referral from the green button on the home screen. So very simple, very straightforward. So here we are back on the home screen. Now what I want to do is I want to jump into a sales rep and show you how a sales rep interacts with P2, how the system kind of, what kind of features and tools that those sales reps have in the system. So again, I'm a system administrator, so I'm moving in and out of different users. So what I want to do now, guys, is I'm going to jump into a user, but I'm going to explain that we have two different user profiles. We have one profile for your sales agent, and that's your 1099 sales agent. We also have a profile for your W-2 sales agent. Now the difference between these two profiles is very minimal, but the main difference is that your W-2 sales agent profile is designed for your full W-2 employees. It has a full calendar and tasking feature built in as part of the system. The only difference between the 1099 and the W-2 user is that the 1099 license does not have an integrated calendar or tasking. Now there's several explanations for why we did it that way. I won't get into that today on the webinar, but if you're interested in learning more about P2 afterwards, I'm more than happy, and one of our sales reps will be more than happy to explain to you why we engineered it like that. So Ben is a W-2 sales rep. If you notice on Ben's home screen, he can see merchants, leads, but if you notice, these numbers are a little bit lower than what we were looking at when I was logged in as a system administrator. So that means that I'm actually going to be able to see only merchants, leads, and opportunities that I own as a sales rep. Right? I also have something called deals. I'll cover that in a moment, as well as tickets. Right? So what I want to do now is let's go ahead and jump into an active opportunity that Ben's been selling to, and let's kind of show you what this record looks like and, again, what kind of tools these guys have. So let's do this. I'm going to use one of these leads over here. Sorry guys, my demo data gets used quite a bit, so I want to make sure it doesn't get messed up, and we'll use a good one for you. Okay, here we go. So this is a merchant, A Street Pizza. Now if you notice here, this is a merchant detail record. A couple really cool things to point out here at the top. If you notice, there's a Twitter, a Facebook, and a YouTube link. Now if I click on these, it's actually going to go out to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube and show me any information that these people might have about their businesses out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. This is a free service. You're just going to connect your credentials for these social networks, right, into P2, and then you can come in and on any merchant location you can click in and see what they're doing in the social space. So a merchant detail page, what you're looking at now is a very basic configuration of how a merchant detail page is going to be set up. Now, no two of our clients does this page look the same. And the reason I point that out is you can create and add custom fields, you can remove fields, you can add entire sections. Now, I'm going to show you in a little bit how easy that is to do, but I'm going to continue to talk about how flexible and how configurable this is. So, some of our clients have sections here where they list out all of the merchant's pricing. I like this section here that shows people. What's really slick about this is it shows you everybody that's involved in the deal. It shows you the referral partner, the primary merchant's contact, as well as the sales agent, the account owner, and even the manager of this deal. So it's nice to be able to have all that information here. Now scrolling down, we've got some of the more basic kind of CRM features that you need to have in every CRM, and that includes things like notes and contacts. Our notes are very straightforward. You can add a new note at any point. And our notes, we made sure to display the full body of the note here, so that way you can actually see what the note says without having to click into each additional note. Now we've got something called deals here. Now what we wanted to do with deals is we know that out in the merchant services world, a lot of times you guys are selling multiple products, right, to the merchant. And you might sell merchant processing, you might sell bank card, right, to one of your guys, but then you might go back a week later and you might sell them some sort of ATM product or cash advance a year later. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to set up a tool that not only allowed you to track what your sales reps are doing by each individual sales stage, but it also creates a nice little package for each product that you're selling. So for this deal, I'm going to explain this whole deal here. We've got merchant processing is the deal, right? We know when it was submitted on. We have a field so the rep can fill in a forecasted close date as well as a probable monthly revenue. What you're able to do with these two numbers is you can do some really great forecasting by having the deal broken up into individually unique stages. I could run a report that says, okay, I want to see all my deals that are in the proposal stage, right, that I know are going to close by the end of the month that are worth over $100. So for most of our clients, before they came to P2, that kind of information was difficult, if not impossible, to get. So I'm going to jump back here and I'm going to open a fresh deal so you can see how this would look. So I'm a sales rep. I'm selling to a merchant. He's ready to do some business. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to click in a new deal. By clicking into a new deal, I get to select whether or not it's for an existing merchant or a new merchant. I'm going to select the payment product. Now we'll build out these drop downs so it lists your payment products, right? So we're going to go ahead and list merchant processing and we'll save it. Now by saving it, what I've done is I've created a completely new deal, right? Completely blank here. So you can see this is when I submitted it. I can add a forecasted close date. But if you notice here, I can move to each individual stage. Every time I jump a stage, it time dates and stamps to tell me and everybody else who ever views this record who moved it and when they moved it. Now if you notice here, we have these little question mark bubbles that float. Now we can add these anywhere that we want and anywhere that you need them. This bubble says make contact with the merchant. Sales does pricing comparison. So this way, you might have some newbies, some fresh users, right? This way, we're gonna reduce that learning curve because they can see what each one of these are, and there's an explanation to that. So if you scroll down, we have a notes section. Now this notes section is designed for notes specific to this deal. So again, what we're doing is we're creating a single source of record, right? But the point is we want you to add all of your deal information, and that's any notes to the merchant or any notes from the merchant, as well as any emails. You can actually send an email in and out of P2. So let's go ahead and send an email here. And what I like about this is when you send an email in and out of P2, what's so slick is it's actually going to drop the email in here as an outbound email. So that way you're going to have a record of all the emails that are coming and going to that merchant that are specific to this merchant processing deal. We also have an attachment section where you can attach documents that are specific to this deal. So, you might have different documents for your merchant processing deal than you do for your ATM deal and your cash advance, right? Because we know those are different documents. So what we're doing is we're giving you a place to kind of store this whole application package inside of P2. Now, some of our clients choose to purchase the online application from us. Now this is an additional module of our system, and what's great about the online application is it does several things. First of all, it gives the reps a really slick tool to collect the merchant data. It also eliminates duplicate data entry because you're capturing the merchant application data electronically in the beginning. So you're not putting it on paper and then somebody's not keying it in somewhere. It's staying electronic from the beginning. So I'm going to go and click in New Online Applications. Now in this screen, you would be able to select which application you want to send the data to. Now this is where you're going to send the merchant data that you've already collected about the merchant, as well as this is the specific application that's going to show up. So I'm going to go ahead and select First Data is the application here. Now if you notice here, it populated some information for me. Now we could tell the system to populate as much information as you want. Obviously, you'll make that decision. Some of our clients want to populate everything, and other clients want to be somewhat, want to let the user decide what data is going where. But if you notice here, what we've done with this app is we've actually built a processing application inside of P2. But it's not just a processing app, it's your processing app. We build your app every time. So this is your specific app. You might have custom fields, you might have custom sections, you might even have a custom logo, right? So this is your specific app. And so again, it's a big job on our side because these are all live fields inside of Salesforce. So what that means is the data flows both ways. So the data will flow from the CRM onto the application. It'll also flow from the application back into the CRM. Right? So the data flows two directions, really slick. So what this means, guys, is that our system is completely cloud-based. I'm on a website now, a URL. So I might be a sales rep sitting in front of the merchant with my iPad. And I've collected some information about the merchant. We've been talking a little bit, but now the merchant's ready to fill out the app. Well, instead of giving them a piece of paper and a pen, I'm going to sit there with my iPad in front of the merchant, and I'm going to click into each field. I'm going to fill in the data, right? You can type it all out. If you notice that we build the apps so they're user-friendly, the drop-downs show what they're supposed to show, so the merchant can't just put something silly in there. And we've broken up each app by different sections. Now, let's say that I'm working with the merchant. I've collected some of the information about the merchant, right? And what I need to do now is the merchant is getting busy. It's lunchtime, and he says, hey, email me the app. Well, we all know that's usually not the best thing to do because you might never see that app again. So what you can do is you can actually send it to the merchant, right? But you're not going to send the app to the merchant like I just explained. You're actually going to send them a link and a password. So I'm going to fill in the merchant's name here. I'm going to click send to email. Now I don't have my Outlook open, so you're not going to see the email pop up. But what it is it's an email message with a link and a password. It allows the merchant to click into that link, key in the password, then the merchant is going to see the application the exact same way that you see it. Now they don't get to see the send with merchant button, they only get to see save and cancel, and they don't see any of this stuff up top. But this is a great tool for collaboration because now you can actually fill out the app electronically, send it to the merchant can complete it. You're not emailing around PDFs with social security numbers and addresses and all that stuff that you probably shouldn't be emailing, right? So it gives you a nice secure way to send that data. The merchant can log back in if they don't complete it, right? So really, really slick tool. That's the send to merchant feature as part of our online application. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out. So here I am. I've actually opened an online app. First data, so there's the app, and the status is data entry. I haven't completed the app, I haven't done anything else with the app, I've just added some data into it. Now, we've also integrated our system with DocuSign to allow you to get an electronic signature, because you can capture the merchant data electronically, but you need to go ahead and get a signature electronically to complete that loop of no paper. Right? Because ultimately our tools could allow you as an ISO to become pretty much paperless because you can collect the application data electronically, you can get the signature electronically, we even have boarding integrations to allow you to board directly in the processors electronically. So this data technically never really has to touch paper. So what we've done with the DocuSign integration, and some of you might be familiar with DocuSign, and interestingly enough, the federal government is, I believe, approving DocuSign to allow people for their tax returns. So it's a big step with DocuSign. DocuSign's already used by to modify mortgages. So if you've purchased a home or modified a mortgage in the past few years, you're familiar with how DocuSign works. They're the industry leader in electronic signature, and that's really the main reason we wanted to go with them. If you're interested in seeing more of how we tie DocuSign into P2, we'll be happy to set up a personal demo and kind of show you that, but I'm going to show you the real basic feature now. So I've created an online app. I'm going to go ahead and click the Send with DocuSign button. Now, the Send with DocuSign button takes me to a screen that allows me to enter in some information I want to send to the merchant. I can say who I want to be signing. I can add additional signers. I can attach additional documents for signature. So maybe I have several different docs that I need electronic signatures. You can add those here. This is the message, right, that the merchant will receive. So you can put all that information here. And then you can set things like send a reminder to the merchant. You can even make it expire in a certain amount of days. So if you want to void this application and say 5 days, tell the merchant, say, look, you have 5 days to complete this. It's going to disappear, and I'm going to send you a warning after 2 days to remind you. So once I'm done, I can actually go ahead and send this application directly to the merchant. They can open it up on the DocuSign's website and actually sign, right? Actually sign the application. But we've taken DocuSign experience one step farther. What we've done now is we've actually given you the ability to sign now. Now I don't have an application here, so it's not going to let me do it, but what Sign Now does is it actually opens DocuSign's website within P2, and it allows you to get an electronic signature from the merchant, right, on your device or on your tablet. So that way, you're working with the merchant, you're going through the sales process, you're done with the application, you have all the data you need. Instead of printing out that app or even emailing the merchant to sign the app, you can click on the Sign Now in the DocuSign page, and it'll actually bring up the full DocuSign screen inside of P2 and allow the merchant to use their finger to complete the application process or sign the documents. Very, very slick. Now, you'll have to get an account with DocuSign in order to use this DocuSign integration. We have contact information for DocuSign, and you'll contact the rep there. He'll give you the credentials. Once you've set up an account, you bring those back to us. All we do is plug them into P2, and you can start receiving signatures with DocuSign. So a couple other features here. If you notice, every single page has a history button at the top. We think it's pretty important to be able to audit a page. You want to be able to see what's going on every page. You want to see who's done what, when they did it. So let's go back to the main merchant detail page. And I'm going to click the history button here and show you all the history that's collected about this merchant. So if you scroll down, I can see who created it, what fields they updated, what deals were created, what tickets were created, right? All the way through, even attachments that were sent in. I know who did it, when they did it. I even know what they did, and I get an explanation. And if I'm ever curious, I can actually click into it, and it's going to take me right to that item. So that's the history button, pretty slick, right? It's at the top of every page, and it allows you to see what's going on, right, in each deal. So it looks like I left my merchant, so let me jump there real quick. Cool. So we're going to continue on down the list. So we've got the notes, contacts, deals. Now that you understand what the deals are all about and how that works, this is my demo environment. So if you notice, there's several deals here, right? But this is really slick because you can actually have a status of a deal that's different than the status of the merchant. Because you might have a completed deal, but that doesn't mean the merchant's actually up in like an actually completed merchant, right? Because maybe the ATM was approved first, and you don't have the processing up and running yet. We also have a very general attachment section, and the attachment section is designed to attach really just basic forms that aren't specific to a deal. We give you an attachment section within the deals, so you can actually attach documents there to each deal, but this attachments piece is really specific to just kind of general attachments. Now, we've also set up a customer service module inside of P2. And what it allows you to do is it allows any user at any point to open a ticket about a merchant. Now, we've set something up in P2 called email to ticket, and it actually allows you to email a ticket into P2. The way that works is we set up an email address on our server, and then you set up an email address and you forward it to our email address, and then we actually then are able to capture those incoming emails and actually turn them into tickets. So let's click into a ticket and show you some of the information about the ticket. So here's a ticket. If you notice, it hasn't been claimed by a customer service rep yet. You can assign it out to another customer service rep if you need to. You notice here that we have a unique set of stages, just like in the sales process. So these stages, right, allow you to move the ticket through the different stages. This way, just like in the sales process, everything's tracked, everything's reportable. And if you look down, there's a couple fields down here that are really interesting. Who should receive emails about the changes to this ticket? Now, it's automatically populated the merchant's email address. And you look at the little bubble, email address to be used to notify merchant of comments on the ticket. So not only can you notify the agent, you're going to notify the sales manager, and then either the merchant or even an additional email address. Now, you don't have to do this by default, but this way our system is going to update the merchant or whoever opened that customer service ticket. Our system is going to update them on what we're doing as we're moving the ticket through the different stages of working it and closing it. Now, just like in any other page, you can attach a note, you can send an email, you can attach an attachment. We also have the ability down here to schedule an activity, right? So in our system, remember I mentioned that W-2 reps are the only ones that have calendars, or excuse me, 1099 sales agents are the ones that don't have calendars, but all other users do have calendars. Sorry for that mix-up. And what this would allow you to do then is maybe this ticket came in and it's for a specific agent, Alan, and you want to go ahead and schedule an activity for Alan that says, Alan, you need to go do a rate review for these people because they called in about a rate review. You could schedule a task, which is just like a general task in Outlook, or you could actually schedule an appointment, which is actually a calendar event with a date and time. Just like every other page, again, you're going to see the history of what's going on, and you can also log a call, right? So maybe you're calling the merchant, you've had a conversation about the ticket, and you need to log that call or that activity that you've done with the merchant. So here that is. So once a ticket's been opened inside of P2, it never goes away, right? So if you notice, I'm scrolling down, there's a lot of tickets here. So this is really great because you can do reporting on the ticketing. You could say, maybe a merchant calls in every month with a batch problem, right? And it's the same time every month, and obviously it's something that you need to try to go fix, but you wouldn't have identified that unless you were storing, tracking, and reporting on all the tickets that were coming into your organization. Now, we've also integrated P2 to allow you to do ACHing directly inside of P2. Our current ACH vendor that's powering our system is ACH Direct. Now, we use ACH Direct's API to allow you to set up and schedule an ACH directly inside of P2. Now, right now, ACH Direct is the only vendor we have built in here, but we're in discussions with several other ACH vendors to be able to supply ACHing just like we do with ACH Direct, but through multiple different ACH vendors. If you notice here that we've set it up to where we can store payment method. Now, we're not really storing the account information. It's actually stored on ACH Direct's server. We truncate the information, but this way we store the payment method or make it accessible, so that way you can create additional transactions as well as things like recurring payments. Now, another kind of neat feature about P2 is something called P2 Verify. Now, one of our clients actually wanted to be able to verify merchant data early on in the sales process. They wanted to be able to see, hey, is this address correct? Is this person fishy? Like, is there something I should be cautious of, right? So we've given them the ability to click the Verify button. What Verify button is going to do is it's going to jump into a screen. We're going to use TinCheck as our vendor to validate some of this merchant information. Now, just like ACH Direct, just like other systems, right, what you need to do here is set up an account with TinCheck. Once you have that account, you bring the credentials to us, and you can actually use this type of service inside of P2. So if you look here, we have the tax ID number, company address and information, and here's a verification I did recently. So this verification says TIN name verification, right? No IRS match found. So we know right off the bat that there's something fishy with their tax ID or their social. Maybe they gave you the wrong tax ID, maybe they gave you the wrong social, whatever. You need to look into that. We're checking the death master file. No death master file match is found. Address validation, right? We checked it through the U.S. Postal Service and it looks good. And OFAC check. This is a big one. No match is found on OFAC. We store these verifications inside of P2, so this way any user at any point can scroll down and see when the verifications were performed, who performed them, and whether or not they're good to go. And we had some problems with both of them, so neither one of them are marked as all clear. Now, we've also integrated P2 into our terminal ordering system to allow you to order terminals directly through P2. So what you're able to do is you can actually then come into our system, click New Deployment Order, and it actually launches you into our Smart Shopping Cart. Now, I don't know if it's going to let me launch this one because I might not have a merchant ID in here, and it requires a merchant ID to launch the shopping cart, but I got it anyways. So there we go. Now, in our shopping cart, you're going to select the different terminal models, right? You'll be able to select quantities. It'll show you the price. And we even have pictures here. And what these pictures are cool because they're going to show you exactly what the terminal looks like. No questions, right? So once you order terminals through our integrated deployment piece, what's really cool about it is we're actually going to drop all of the deployment order information here. So you're going to be able to see the terminal that was ordered, how much it cost, where it went, all the information about the order. Now, that's really great. And you can continue to use that if you want to use us for ordering equipment. Maybe you're already getting equipment from us now. But maybe you're not getting equipment from us and you just want to enter in your terminal information for each merchant into P2. So here we have something called the Terminal Solutions. You can click into New Terminal Solution. And here what we can do is we can actually key in the terminal information. But instead of just giving a blank field and telling the rep to say, hey, just key in, VX510, right? Well, that's great, but we know that there's several different models of a VX510. So let's go ahead and grab a Verifone. It's going to reset to a different family. Now, what we're dialing out to, guys, to get you this list right here, is that this is actually dialing into our warehouse, into our parts catalog. So let's look at this. For a VX570, there's maybe 10 different models. Now, this is great because previously your guys might have just been noting VX510, right? But now they can actually say, all right, well, it's a VX510 20 megabyte dial with Ethernet and the pin pad is included. So you get highly specific information about the terminals that your merchants have. You can list the serial numbers, injection keys. You can even add ownership, right? Maybe they own it. Maybe they're renting it. Maybe they even have additional peripherals like check imagers or loyalty scanners. You can add those in, right? You can also see things like description and install date, uninstall date, and warranty end date. Now these are really important because there might be times where, as we know, a lot of terminals with the switch over to EMV, a lot of things are going to be changing. So it's going to be very important for you to be able to come into the system, run a report, and find out all the terminal models to the very specific, right, megabyte, memory, all that stuff. You're going to be able to run reports and tell you all your different terminals being used by all your different merchants, and it helps you identify upsell opportunities, things like PCI issues with terminals being retired, all that stuff. Really, really nice piece to allow you to track your terminals. And we've got a list of any open activities that have been scheduled with this merchant, as well as a history of activities. So this merchant's been visited a few times and called. And then we got the full history of anything that's happening with the record. Now, as a sales rep, right, I can also come in and run some reports. Now, I can only run reports again for merchants that I own. So I'm going to look at like the sales performance report, and the sales performance report is going to show me some information about my merchants. So I can see things like referral partner performance, sales agent performance, right? Probable revenue by product, deals closed last quarter, deals closed this quarter, and merchant attrition. Now this particular report, I'm viewing it as the system admin, so it's actually going to let me see data for all the different reps. But if I was viewing this report as an individual rep, I would only see information from merchants that I own. I really like this report over here on the right because it allows you to break up probable revenue by product. So now you get a little bit of more understanding about why we decided to set up the concept of the deals, because now you can track probable revenue by individual product. Now, for all the users within P2, we think it's really important that we give you instructions and directions on how things work. Because this can be a complicated system, and there's a lot of things that you can do. But we also listen to our market, and we know that you guys, as ISOs, you want to be able to make some of the changes yourself. You don't want to feel nickel and dimed by vendors that you work with. So what we did is we gave you a full how-to video library. We have a list of videos just about some of our new features, user tutorial for your sales reps on things like logging a call with a merchant, right? Home screen tours so they know what's going on with their home screens. We even have a full section here about reporting, how to export a report, how to run a report, create a custom report, step by step. We also have a full administrator video section. So remember I was talking about how easy it is to create a custom field or do something custom inside of P2, right? So let's look at this. Creating a custom list view, creating a custom field. Now look at this video, it's less than 4 minutes. It takes less than 4 minutes for you to create a custom field inside of P2. Very powerful, right? Because again, we think it's really important for us to give you this information. We're not charging for these videos. They're all available to you inside our systems. Every user is going to see in the How To Videos tab. You can also get it on our YouTube channel as well as on our website. So I mentioned ticketing, customer service, how that works. I'm going to jump into a customer service rep real quick and show you what that looks like. So Martin Cook's a customer service rep, and if you notice, Martin Cook looks very almost identical to all the other profiles that we've logged into, but Martin has access to all the tickets. He can click in and he can see every ticket that's been submitted by all the different customer service and all the different sales agents. He can click into the tickets. He can work the tickets, he can see information about the deals, right? He can add notes. So he's got kind of full functionality to be able to work these tickets and do what he needs. I won't spend too much more time. If you're interested in seeing more about what a customer service rep can do, let us know and we'll be happy to cover that in another call. We can get kind of deeper into what customer service reps have access to. So I'm about 15 minutes left in my presentation. What I want to do, guys, is I want to jump into reports real quick and just dig a little bit deeper into reports, and then I'm going to open it up for questions and see if there's any questions. So everybody wants to be able to report on their data, their merchants. They want to see what's going on inside their organization, and that's really important. Now, what we've done is we've set up P2 so you can report on virtually anything that's stored inside the system. So as long as there's data in a field, you can actually report on it. So we showed you sales performance, but let's look at let's go ahead and look at a default sales agent, right? So this is what a sales agent would see. But now I'm viewing as an individual sales agent. I could view it as a system administrator and see the information for all my different reps. But right now I'm just seeing it for Alan. So Alan can see things like deals by stage, total probable revenue by product, and even open tickets by reason. So I can actually see all the tickets that are open for my merchants. And when I click into them, I can actually see an enhanced view. And I can click down in and I can see every merchant and what the tickets were about. Now I can actually click into each ticket if I want to see specifically what the ticket is, so there it is. Now, the reporting is super powerful, guys. You can report on really anything you want. If you notice here that these are dashboards, again, they're a combination of multiple reports. Let's go ahead and look at a customer support dashboard. Now this dashboard shows you things like who requested support, the support temperature, because you can indicate different severities when you open a ticket, critical, medium, low. This is ticket wait time. How long does it take one of my customer service reps to claim a ticket once it's been submitted? Closed tickets year to date, new support tickets open monthly, customer service performance. How long does it take me to close a ticket? Or excuse me, how many tickets did I close by month? Excuse me. And then this is the one, how long it took me to close a ticket. So average ticket performance. So quite a few other reports that you can run here. A couple other ones I'll show you and then we'll move on. So you can also see other things like, let's see, this is, referral partner. This is a great one. This one shows you some information about your referral partners, right? So again, guys, you can report on virtually anything that's in P2. Any information that's in any fields is fully reportable. So last thing I want to cover, and then I'll open it up for questions, is, we're built on Salesforce.com's platform, Force.com, which means that you're going to have access to the App Exchange, right? Now the App Exchange is Salesforce's, I would call it iTunes for business. Now these are all different apps published by different vendors, right? Just like you would see in an Android or an iPhone's app store, right? So you have access to that, but you also have access to our own app store. Now at POS Portal, we've been working to create our own app store, and the reason we did that is we tend to modify all of the apps that we use to kind of work better and to do things that we want. So currently in our app store, we have apps for ACH Direct, DocuSign, 10Check. We even have Amazon S3, so you can back up your data in the cloud and store tons and tons of data. Now, Salesforce gives you a certain amount of data storage, but if you're interested in converting your shop into a paperless office, and converting all your paper documents into electronics, we recommend using an Amazon S3 account to help you back up some of that really heavy data that's going to come with importing all those documents. So I think that covers everything. I'm going to go ahead and read some questions here to see if I have any, and then I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody and we'll cover that. So, well, we got a lot of questions here. Okay. So we got, is there a way to auto-generate a need? Got that. Okay, do all referrals need to have a license? If I have an office with multiple referral sources and only give them one license, can I communicate to all the salespeople individually? So unfortunately, and that's kind of a complicated question, the way that would work, Ray, is you would technically set up the system to where if you had a referral partner, let's say example, a bank, right? Well, what you might want to do is you might want to give the business banking manager or the branch manager or somebody like that the actual login to the portal. Now all the other bankers, you can give them all these unauthenticated forms, right? And we showed these unauthenticated referral forms. So that way you can track through that main portal what everybody at the bank's doing with referrals, but you're only paying for one actual license, right, for that one main referral. Can you create online apps from Force platform, or does the rep need a full Salesforce CRM license? Any reps within our system, including the 1099 reps, which are very, very cheap in comparison to other licenses, they do have access to the actual full application. So again, the only limitation of the 1099 reps is the calendaring and tasking, but they do have the ability. To do all that right through their 1099 license. Well, let's see. We had a question about DocuSign in Canada. Guys, DocuSign is widely accepted, but we tell each of our clients, if you're considering using an electronic signature for your apps, that you need to check with your processor first. Now, we're finding that, over time, more and more processors are becoming more open to these electronic signatures, but we can't necessarily promise you that your processor is going to be okay with an electronic signature. You need to ask them yourself. What processor you're integrated with for the app in PC? So that's Caleb. Yes. So we've done apps for virtually every processor. Now again, the process of setting up an app for you is we're building each app for you individually. So just because we built one in the past, there are a few shortcuts we can take if you're a basic like MPC ISO. But for the most part, we have to build each one from kind of a scratch or kind of from nothing to build it up. And if you want some more explanation about that, Caleb, let us know. Follow up with a sales rep or ask a sales rep and you get followed up on, and we can give you some more information about that. I see you're using a First Data app. Is it compatible with Elevon? So this is somebody who's already left as well, but yes, we're going to build any app that you want. We have clients, we've built Getty apps. We have clients that we've built cash advance apps, ATM apps. We can build any app you want inside of P2, period. Very little restrictions there. Can EchoSign be integrated or only DocuSign? EchoSign can be integrated, and we actually have a few clients using EchoSign, very similar to DocuSign. We've tweaked the DocuSign integration a little bit to make it a little bit friendlier than what DocuSign kind of offered out of the box. But yes, you can certainly use EchoSign if you want to integrate that into P2 and use the signatures as well. Is there a collection module on ACH? That's from Ray. Ray, not sure what you mean by collections module. Maybe we'll come back to that. Can you ACH from contact record if we want to bill cost to P2 to our 1099 employees? Of course. You can actually set it up, and let me show you this over here on the left. So in the agents, we're going to click into active agents. Let me move this box over here. And we're going to click in to say, I think Alan has his bank account information in here. He doesn't, but you could actually store Alan's payment method and then create reoccurring payments. Maybe you want to set up a reoccurring payment to bill the agent every month for the cost of the portal and the app and everything that you're going to offer them. You can definitely do that. So you can actually set up individual payment methods, right, or ACHing ability for each rep. Can you show the module for residuals from different processors imported, for example? Yes. So I don't have time today, guys, to show the residual module. It's typically about a 20-minute kind of tour or demo. We're very happy to show it to you if you're interested in seeing it. It'll take about a half hour to get from end to end. Let us know, and we'll set up a follow-up. But again, I would only get into a couple minutes of it, so we'll save that for another call. I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody now to see if there's any questions verbally. I really appreciate all the type-in questions. These have been great. Let's see. We got a couple more I think came in. Will you be going over any costs? So as soon as we're done here, the sales reps will be following up. But I'm going to give you some very basic kind of out-of-the-box stock pricing, right? So our 1099 agents has a stock price of $20 a month for their portal. Now that also applies to referral partners as well. Now our full license users, and those would be people like your W-2 reps, your support people, your customer service, they all need to be on full licenses, and the full list price for a full license is $125 a month. Now we also have some setup fees and things like that, but guys, all of those fees and those prices, everything is really dependent on what you're doing. Some of our clients only want a handful of users, right? And they want things like the app, and they want to do residuals. And then other of our clients want licenses for 100 sales reps with apps, and they want to use it to really manage the sales process. So we can really handle both. Using authorized.net process, possible taking credit cards from customers? Yes. So what we've done, guys, is we've got a lot of relationships that a lot of vendors that we've been chatting with to connect their APIs. So basically authorized.net, we're working with, in discussions with ControlScan, CrossCheck, Getty, who all have APIs that will allow us to connect to their data and make it to where you can use their services within P2, just like we were showing with things like the ACH integration. How do we email reports and our statuses of referrals that come in from the referral form? So those are all, Ray, those are all set up as, and I didn't have time to cover those, but those are all set up as email templates. So let me show you that real quick. What you can do with the email templates is you set up something called a workflow trigger. And what a workflow trigger does is allows you to send something out based on an action that's happening. So you can see that here's all my email templates. These are all the ones that we have built into P2. You can obviously add any one that you want your own. Some of these are HTML and text, but you decide what these templates are going to go to. So let me give you an example. This one is new application submitted. Well, the description is new application submitted, and it has a whole template with a message that you can build and you can modify. So you'll upload additional templates or add them into our system, and then as you build these email triggers or these email alerts, you can select which one is going to go out. Collection module, is there an ACH rejects? Does eCheck handle the collection? And does the status of this collection, ACH reject, report back to P2? So great question, Ray. You're going to see all that information on ACH Direct site. We can set up some responses back, but today most of our clients are using the ACH integration to just simply schedule the payments through P2. But there is room through ACH Direct's API as well as other APIs that we've been looking at to get additional information like reject alerts and then post them a different way, maybe sending an email trigger out to the sales rep telling him that the ACH got declined, things like that. So lots and lots of questions. Again, guys, you're going to get followed up with by a sales rep. If you have additional questions, we'll be happy to answer them. If you'd like a second look, or maybe you want to see some of the things that we didn't have time to cover today, more than happy to set up a personal demo and show you whatever you want to see in P2. I have a couple minutes. I'm going to unmute everybody's audio, see if there's any verbal questions to go. Please put your cell phone, if you have me on speaker, put me on mute so I don't hear everybody's background noise. Other than that, you're unmuted if you dialed in. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to hang out for another 5 minutes.
Your unauthenticated referral form that you're talking about, our home pages don't look anything like your home pages.
Yep.
So how do you link that out, or how does that connect back into the system?
Oh, okay. So the way that unauthenticated form is going to work, right, is it's just a URL. So it doesn't really matter where it's coming from. We're actually going to take the data that's entered in on this form and we're going to send it into P2. So you can actually email this URL around. You can do whatever you want with it, and anytime you come into an address bar, it's going to load, right? So there's really no restrictions on how you can access it. Some of our clients give this to their banking referral partners so that the tellers at the windows can simply and easily fill in a form, and that way they're not logging into a system to refer you that information. They're just coming to this URL and keying it in quickly. Does that answer your question?
But that URL has to be uniquely assigned to our P2 instance, right? So
And
you have to issue a unique URL for our instance.
Yep.
We would have to add that.
No, you don't have to ask us for that. You can actually, there's a button that allows you to generate the forms, and every time you generate a new form, it generates a new URL with a new code, and then you would list where that URL was going to be placed. So you could tell the system all of that information.
So the magic question is, where's the button?
Oh, down here to submit?
That's not what I'm talking about. When this is received into P2,
Yep.
where do you map that into the
yeah.
where you receive?
Sure. So that would actually land back in leads. Now, some of our clients handle this differently. Some of our clients want an email trigger to tell like, say, a sales manager or an office manager that a new lead is entered. We also have the ability to do automated lead routing. Some of our clients want to just get rid of that in-between kind of personal, that need for that personal intervention. And what that would do then is you might have a referral partner and a rep, and rep A handles that referral partner every time a new referral comes in. Well, instead of, an email firing off and having to go in and assign those leads or that new referral right out to that rep, we can just automatically send it to the rep and email the rep letting him know that he now has a new lead within the system.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and assigning leads in bulk is really easy. So you might come in, you might look at all your leads that have come in, right, from a specific referral partner. You'll select maybe a dozen of them, and then you'll come in and you'll actually assign selected merchants, just reassign them out to the rep that you want those leads or those referrals to go to. Any other questions, guys?